How will the TikTok ban affect your portfolio and your investments? So I wanted to start a series just talking about news events that I find to be particularly important and kind of brainstorm the effects that that news event might have on your investments, on your portfolio, etc. Now, this video specifically is going to be talking about the TikTok ban that starts and is effective January 19th, 2025. And I wanted to kind of just ramble and just speculate on the effects that it might have. Now, I compiled a list of certain popular companies that a lot of people invest in. So let's just talk about those. So the first two that are most obvious are going to be Google and Meta, right? Google owning YouTube and hence YouTube Shorts, and then Meta owning Instagram and thus Instagram Reels. So the first preliminary thought is just, okay, well, if they lose a competitor, they lose TikTok, then more people will migrate to YouTube Shorts or more people will migrate to Meta Reels. And I think this is the most obvious one that most people have already thought of. And this would mean that if you lose a competitor, then those two companies, they might increase profits, increase members, increase whatever, right? Revenue. So that might be good, a net positive on Google and Meta. But I also wanted to call to question or call to just get you guys to think about. There's a possibility that haven't seen a lot of people talk about. Creators don't actually do the same amount of volume, or they don't get the same exact amount of success uniformly on YouTube Shorts, Reels, TikTok. And there's this idea that maybe some people they do a lot better on TikTok, maybe some people they do a lot better on Reels, maybe some people they do a lot better on Shorts. And depending on where these creators get get most of their revenue from, there is a high chance that for the people that aren't doing that well on Reels and Shorts, but they are doing really well on TikTok, then those people, when they do move to Shorts and Reels, they might not see the same success, and hence they might just drop out of the TAM altogether. So these people might, after having tried Reels and having tried Shorts for a while, they might just drop out of the entire game altogether. And I think that this actually might be harmful for the balance sheet of Google and Meta. Just imagine this scenario, right? Where you have a creator that's doing really well on TikTok, and then they're able to get most of their revenue from TikTok. Now, this person wants to expand, so then they will go to have ads, or they'll go to create things on YouTube Shorts and Meta Reels or Instagram Reels. Now, when TikTok closes, then they lose their main source of revenue. And maybe they're not doing so well on Meta or on YouTube. And this makes it so that they don't see a reason to pay for ads. They don't see a reason to continue with this line of work, and maybe they'll do something else. In this case, then you lose that customer on all three platforms. And that would be obviously bad for both companies. Now, the other thing to note is also, when TikTok does close, there's a finite amount of time, a finite amount of eyes that are going to be watching Reels and Shorts, right? No matter what you do, there's going to be that same constant customer base. Now, all the people that are paying for ads, that are paying for these things, they're fighting for time slots. So there comes a time when it's kind of capped, right? There's only so many ads you can show a customer or show a user before that person just gets annoyed and they just turn off of the app. And if that's the case, then having this sudden inflow or influx of users and I guess partners from TikTok to Instagram Reels to YouTube Shorts, that might make it so that even if those platforms do gain those customers, they don't have enough time to fit them in. They don't have enough ad spots to fit those people in. That would be a net negative. You're losing a percentage of your market because they're just unable to fit into the current, the current, I guess they're just unable to fit into the allotted time slots, the allotted slots that are permitted. Another consequence of the TikTok ban might be if users on TikTok really do want to continue using TikTok, they want to continue getting updates, then it's possible that those customers or those users will instead of going to the Apple App Store or the Google App Store to download their apps, maybe they'll go to a third-party app store. I'm sure that if push comes to shove, I don't put it past TikTok or the users on TikTok to find a third-party site where they can host the updates of TikTok. And if this is the case, then that actually might be negative for those two companies, because now when you have this 170 million people or 170 million users, they're all seeing this third-party site, and then maybe they think to themselves, oh, well, since I'm already here to download TikTok, let's just shop around here instead of going to the Apple App Store or instead of going to the Google App Store. And that would also be a net negative on those two companies, namely Apple and Google, right? The other thing is also, because TikTok is still going to be running, it's just that you can't really get updates from it, then I can't say I'm sure, but I think that it's a high likelihood that TikTok will be pushing those users or pushing those sites, or even giving users a tip to how to update TikTok, on how to go to these third-party sites, these third-party app stores, in order to download the latest APK or the latest update for TikTok. The next type of company that I would be wary of would also be the companies that really help facilitate small businesses. An example of this would be Shopify, right? Where users would only create a Shopify store if they do see that there's revenue pouring in, if they do see that there's actual profit to be earned. But if they lose their entire source of revenue, which is for a lot of people TikTok, or they lose their advertising space, which is TikTok, then these companies, these small businesses, they might close down and they might stop using the services that these companies provide, right? So like they might stop having Shopify host their websites because they don't need a website anymore. They might stop using even ads, right? They might stop using Google Ads or Meta Ads or even Trade Desk, right? They might stop using all those things because they don't have that business anymore. Now, speaking of ads, this ban on TikTok might actually be good for ads, because when these small businesses, and even when these big businesses, they lose the ability to advertise on TikTok, right? Then they'll probably shift their marketing budget towards like the Trade Desks and the Google Ads and the Meta Ads of the world, rather than using TikTok. And maybe it's also possible that nothing happens, right? Maybe the TikTok ban doesn't go through. Maybe Trump is able to somehow cancel the ban. Or maybe even another thing I can see happening is maybe TikTok splits into two companies, the algorithm company and the platform company. They sell the platform company to some American government or to some American company. That way they skirt around that law, and they just purchase or they just rent the services of this TikTok algorithm company. And then that's another way that I feel that they can circumvent the law. But those are just my opinions. Those are my thoughts on what I think the TikTok ban might do. And those are just some of the effects that I think that might occur if TikTok were to be banned. And those are just some of the effects on just random stocks I thought of, or random sectors of the economy, if TikTok were to be banned. I guess TLDR would just be, it would namely affect companies and stocks that deal with small businesses. And obviously it would affect the companies that are in direct competition with TikTok, or that use TikTok as either like a product, right? For example, app stores, right? Where they're actually hosting TikTok to be obtained. What do you say? It's not purchased, but to be downloaded from their stores, right? Because that TikTok is in a sense free advertisement for the companies that host them, for the app stores that host them. So yeah, those are just my opinions. Those are just my thoughts. If you have any opinions or any insight, or maybe some sector of the economy that I didn't mention, please leave them in the comments down below. I'll definitely read them. But yeah, that's it. Have a good day. Bye.